You lift a rock in the garden, and dozens of small gray creatures scatter in every direction, some curling instantly into tight little balls. Most people write them off as just another bug living under things. Big mistake. These aren't insects at all. They're crustaceans, distant cousins of shrimp and lobsters, and the females carry their young in a pouch called a marsupium, the exact same word used for a kangaroo. Stay with me, because that's not even the strangest part of this video. Wait until you hear what people used to do with these things. Myth number 1. These are bugs. They're not. Pillbugs and woodlice are terrestrial crustaceans in the same group as shrimp, crabs, and lobsters, one of the only crustacean lineages that ever fully left water behind. They still breathe through modified gills on their underside, gills that only work when kept moist. Dry them out and they suffocate, plain and simple. That's the entire reason you find them under damp rocks and rotting logs, and never out sunbathing on a driveway. 7 pairs of legs, no antennae the way an insect would have, a body plan built for the ocean, still quietly running on land, millions of years after the switch. Myth number 2. They're wrecking your garden. Mostly, they're doing the opposite. These are detritivores. They eat dead leaves, rotting wood, and fungus, breaking it all down into usable soil nutrients, quietly running one of the garden's cleanup crews while you sleep. A single population working under a layer of mulch can process a genuinely surprising amount of leaf litter over a season, turning it into exactly the kind of crumbly, nutrient-rich soil gardeners pay good money for in a bag. Real damage to living plants only happens under one condition: extreme dryness, that pushes a hungry population toward tender seedlings because their normal food dried out first. In an ordinary garden, they're recycling, not destroying anything. But the part almost nobody knows is still ahead. Myth number 3. They can all roll into a ball. Only some can. True pillbugs, family Armadillidae, have the skeletal flexibility to curl into a complete sphere, a defense called conglobation, tucking legs, antennae, and the softer underside completely out of reach. Woodlice, often called sowbugs, are flatter, carry 2 small tail-like appendages at the rear, and simply can't do it, no matter how threatened they feel. So their entire defense comes down to speed instead. One physical trait, one animal rolls, one doesn't. The fastest way to tell them apart at a glance the next time you flip over a rock. Now here's where this gets genuinely strange. If this is already changing how you see the pillbug under your flower pot, hit that subscribe button right now. We cover the hidden science behind the animals in your own backyard every single week. And drop a comment below. Did you know these were crustaceans and not insects before watching this? Now for that marsupium, because it's genuinely elegant engineering, and it's not even the strangest fact left in this video. The pouch starts out filled with water, letting embryos develop in something close to their ancestors' original ocean environment, even while the mother walks around entirely on land, tucked under a rock or a fallen log. Once the young can survive breathing air, her body injects air into the pouch, and they finish developing there before emerging as fully formed miniature adults, ready to walk and feed immediately. No larval stage, no metamorphosis, just a smaller version of the animal they'll grow into. It's a portable tide pool, carried by a land animal, evolved completely independently from an actual kangaroo's pouch, just converging on the exact same solution, millions of years and an entire branch of the animal kingdom apart. 2 completely unrelated lineages arriving at the same clever answer to the same problem, keeping vulnerable young safe and moist until they're ready for the world. Stick around, because what people used to do with these creatures is even harder to believe. But here's what almost nobody knows, and it gets stranger. From the Roman era through the 18th century, people across Europe actually swallowed these creatures as medicine. Not folklore, documented treatment prescribed by real trained physicians and apothecaries who wrote it into their medical texts without a hint of irony. Dried, powdered, mixed into syrups and tonics, recommended for kidney stones, jaundice, asthma, and a whole list of vague internal complaints doctors of the time couldn't otherwise explain, rooted in the old belief that illness came down to an imbalance somewhere inside the body rather than anything resembling modern testing. The creature you step around today, barely worth a glance, spent over 1,000 years as an actual, seriously prescribed pharmaceutical across an entire continent, recommended by the same kind of doctors people trusted with their lives. And here's a claim worth correcting directly, since it gets repeated online as settled fact. You may have heard pillbugs actively clean heavy metals like lead and cadmium out of contaminated soil, protecting groundwater in the process, a claim that shows up in gardening blogs and social media posts as though it's proven. That's not quite what the science actually says. They do accumulate certain metals internally, stored safely away from the rest of their body in a specific organ, which makes them genuinely useful as bioindicators, living samples researchers test to detect contamination that might otherwise go unnoticed in a plot of land. But the original studies were about measuring pollution, using pillbugs as a kind of biological gauge, not about them actively scrubbing a yard clean at any scale that would actually matter to a homeowner. A real, interesting finding, stretched into a far bigger claim than it ever actually supported. So what does this mean for your own garden? In most cases, nothing. A healthy population speeds up decomposition and enriches your soil for free. No effort required on your part at all, quietly working the same job every night whether you notice or not. If seedlings are getting damaged, that usually means conditions have gotten too dry nearby. So water a little more consistently and pull mulch back a few inches from young, vulnerable stems during their most fragile early weeks. No chemicals needed, no traps, nothing to buy, no bite, no sting, and no real threat to a person or a pet at all, which makes leaving them under the rock exactly where you found them the right call almost every single time. One last thing worth knowing before we wrap up: a single pillbug can live anywhere from 2 to 5 years given the right conditions, genuinely long for something that small, and a healthy population under one shady, moist patch of garden can number in the hundreds without you ever noticing more than a handful at once, since most of them stay buried under leaf litter, only surfacing at night or when a hiding spot gets disturbed. That population also feeds a surprising amount of the rest of your yard. Birds in particular seek them out, since their hard outer shell is rich in calcium, exactly what a bird needs to form strong eggshells during nesting season. That means the same creature quietly recycling your dead leaves is also, indirectly, helping the birds in your garden raise their young. That hidden, steady population is exactly what's been quietly working through your old leaves and dead wood the entire time, long before this video ever gave it a second thought. Here's the thing worth sitting with: a land-dwelling crustacean, a distant cousin to a lobster, raising its young in a pocket of ocean it carries on its own body, once swallowed as actual medicine across an entire continent, and still misunderstood today by a claim that outran its own research. None of it deserves a shoe the next time you lift a rock and find one scattering for cover. If this changed how you look at the pillbugs under your flower pot, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel is about: the hidden truth behind the animals you walk past every single day. Leave a like if you learned something today. It genuinely helps this channel keep making videos exactly like this one. Drop a comment. Did you know these used to be swallowed as medicine? I read every single one.